Okay, so today what we're doing is two things. We're building equations and inequalities, and then we're solving them to answer the question. Okay? So when we build things, it has four parts to it. We need a rate per hour, per dollar, per minute, per whatever. Okay? A fixed number, constant, means it doesn't change. That number is not going to change. Whatever it is, dollars, minutes, hours, days, it's just not going to change. And then we need a symbol. If it's an equation, it's going to be equals. If it's not, it's going to be one of the guys we'll talk about later. And then the total. Once we get those four things, we've built it. That's probably the hardest part. Building is probably the hardest part because you've solved before. Solving is not that hard because we've done it before. Okay? Okay, so those are the four things we need. So as we read these, those are the four things we need. When you read something, is it a rate? Is it fixed? Fixed means it doesn't change. Is it a total? Is this an equation? Or is it one of the inequalities, we call them? Okay, think about that when we're reading. So the first one, Jocelyn needed to get her computer fixed. So she took it to a repair store. The technician, the tech at the store, fixed her computer, worked on her computer for 4.75 hours. That's how long they worked on it for. They charged her $77 for the parts. Okay. The total was $290.75. Okay, so we got to write. When it says write, it means build. We got to build and then solve an equation which can be used to determine the cost. So this is what they're asking. They're asking for the cost per hour, right? Most jobs, you make money per hour. I make $20 an hour. I make $50 an hour. I make $30 an hour, right? That's what we got to figure out. What did they charge her? What was the rate of the tech? Okay? That's what we have to find. Okay, so let's fill this in. So we got the rate times x plus the fixed number equals the total. I put equals in there. How do we know it's going to be equals? There's one word in here actually there's two words in here that lead us to an equal sign. What two words in that paragraph would tell us it's going to be equals?
Charged?
Close. Total is one of them. Total is one, right? Total. And what's the other one? Starts with an E. Equation. Oops. And total. Both of those combined, we know it's going to be equals. So one of them's done. What was the total? They actually tell us the total, right? So that's going to go on this side. $290.75. So we got two of the three already done. Those are usually the two that I start with. Okay. Next one. Okay, so now we got our total, right? So we have 4.75 hours, and we have $77 for parts. One of those is a fixed number that's not going to change. One of them is a rate. Which one is the fixed? That's not going to change. The parts. The parts are the fixed number. That's not going to change. It's not going to go up or down. It's going to be $77. They figured they need $77 in parts. That part is the fixed. Okay? So that part is going to go there. Plus $77. Why is 4.75? That's going to be the rate. That's going to be the rate that'll tell us the cost of what they charge per hour. So that's why we put 4.75 here. Step one, we built it. That's the equation. So step one, we're done. Step two is solve. So the first thing is I'm going to rewrite it. said solve, so I'm going to put a line down the equals. So when it says solve, we always start at the bottom of PEMDAS, right? So is there any addition or subtraction? It's plus 77, right? Do the opposite. Subtract $77. It's going to be 200 and something. Let's see, 290, 75. 290, 75 minus 77, or 290, was it 290? Yeah, 290. So the 213.75. So when I subtract those two, I get 213.75. Okay. No more addition and subtraction. Do we have any multiplication or division?
Yeah, because it's by the x.
They're stuck together, right? That means multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Divide by 4.75. X equals, I think it's going to be 40. Let's see.
45.
45, thank you. Divided by, what was it divided by? 4.75. 45. My question is, what is 45? Is it dollars, days, hours, minutes?
So the cost of labor per hour.
Cost, right? So cost is in dollars. So $45 per hour. That's what he costs. That's what he charges. So we're going to explain that. You got to imagine that you're trying to explain this to someone who doesn't know what X is. Right? They know what equals is. Most people knows what equals is, knows what equals means, but X. So I'm going to put a little sentence under here. The tech charges $45 per hour. That's what that means. The tech charges $45 per hour. That's how much the tech makes. When I take my car in to go to get it, whatever I need to get it done, they charge me two things. They charge me for the parts. How much did the parts cost? And then they charge me on how long did the mechanic work on my car. Right? They add those two numbers up. Boom. That's how much it is. Okay? Depends on the mechanic. Some mechanics charge $50 an hour. Some charge more. Right? And depends on how much parts it was. Right? If I just need my tires rotated, I don't need parts. So it's just all labor. Right? If I need to get my oil changed, they got to charge me for the oil. So they figure out how much oil do I need. Then they add it towards how long did it take the mechanic to fix that. Right? That's how they charge. That's how they decide. Right? Techs do the same thing. All right. Okay, next one. A group of friends wants to go to the amusement park. They have $311.50 to spend on parking and admission. Those are the two costs, parking and admission. Parking is $16.75. Tickets are $32.75, including tax. So tax is already in there. So we have to build and solve an equation. There's our word right there, equation, right? So it's going to be equals, which can be used to solve for P. So we're going to solve for the number of people who can go to the park. How many people can I take to the park total given those things? Okay, so the first thing, we got the equation. What's the total going to be? Which one of those is the total? That's how much total they have to spend, right? $311.50. That's how much they have to spend. Okay. So we got $311.50. So I still have $16.75 and $32.75. One of those is a rate. One of those is a fixed number that's not going to change. Which one is the fixed number that's not going to change?
The 16.
The parking, right? $16.75. Yeah, they're only taking one car. So $16.75, that's not going to change. That's not going to change because it's only one car. What's going to change is the number of people who I can take, right? Because that can change, $32.75 is the rate per person. There's the equation. We built it. Solve it. Okay. So we have addition, so we're going to do subtraction. Subtract $16.75 from both sides. So 311.50 minus 1675. 294.75. 294.75. Bring down my rate. Done with the addition and subtraction, so I got division now. Or sorry, multiplication. I got multiplication now. 32.75 times P. Divide by 32.75. Okay. So I'm going to do some division. Take my old number, divide by 32.75, and I get 9. What does 9 mean?
How many people you can see?
Yep, it's going to be a packed car. You can take 9 people. Or a group of friends. So you could take 9 people. Done. Okay. So on the inside, it's going to be the same. We're still looking for the same 4 parts. Rate, fixed, symbol, total. The only difference is now it's going to be using some of these guys, right? Some of these guys. Okay, some of these guys look the same, right? Greater than and greater than or equal to look very similar. One has a line because it means equal. So what is the difference between greater than or equal to and just greater than? Why do I want to use greater than or equal to sometimes instead of greater than? You want options. Yeah, you want options, right? Greater than means you have to have more. You have to be more. Have to be more. Greater than or equal to, it might be equal. You might be the same. You could be the same or more. You have options, right? Same thing with less than. Less than or equal to or less than, you have options, right? These guys, you have 2 options. You could be bigger than or the same. You could be smaller than or the same. Okay? So sometimes we want to be the same. Sometimes we just want to be bigger or just smaller. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at the first one. Maylin needs to order some new supplies for the restaurant where she works. Okay, the restaurant needs at least 623 forks. That's how much they need. At least that much. There are currently 223 forks that she has available. If each set on sale contains 8 forks, so that means when she buys forks, she buys them in groups of 8. She can't just buy 1 fork. She has to buy groups of 8, okay, because they come in bundles. Write and solve an inequality that can be used to determine, okay, so what are we going to determine? We're going to determine the number of sets of forks she has to buy. Sets of forks. That's what we're gonna solve for. Well, before we do that, we have to build. Okay, so let's build. So we need a rate times x plus the fixed number Then we need a symbol, and we need a total. So how do I know it's going to be one of the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less? Because it says inequality, right? In there it says, it doesn't say equation. So that one's off the board. Okay. We still have a total, though. What is the total going to be? 623, right? 623 is still the total that she needs. It says at least. What does at least mean? Does at least mean bigger or smaller? Bigger. At least is bigger. If you need to have at least this, you can have the same number or more, right? So it's going to be greater than, and it could be the same, right? Greater than or equal to. At least is a word that goes with greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. What's the opposite of at least? At most. At most is going to be the opposite. Less than. That's another one. That's another big one they throw. At least and at most. Right? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Fixed number. Fixed number. What is the fixed number and what is the rate? So 223 represents what she has right now. That's the fixed number, yeah. 223 is the fixed number. She has 223 forks right now that she can use. The rate is going to be the sets that she can buy. How many does she buy? 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets. She needs to know how many she can buy. Okay? That's why that's the rate. So there's our inequality. We just built it. Now let's solve it. So we have 8x plus 223 greater than or equal to 623. So how are we going to solve it differently than we did the last one? The answer is you're not going to do it any differently. You're going to do it the same way. Start at the bottom of PEMDAS because it still says solve, right? So addition, subtraction, we do have addition. Plus 223, right? So I'm going to subtract 223 from both sides. Just because there's a different symbol doesn't mean we changed what we do. So we get 400 on this side. Bring 8x down. 8x means multiplication. The opposite of multiplication, division. X is greater than or equal to, I think 8 goes into 45 times, so with 400, it's 50. Okay, so this one especially we need to explain because a lot of people don't know what that symbol is. And like out there, like you guys do because we're learning about it, but most people don't know what that symbol is. So what does it mean in plain English? What does that symbol mean? So how do we say? What does the 50 mean?
What's your name,
Malin?
Malin? Malin should buy at least 50 sets of 8 forks.
There you go. She needs to buy, let's use the same words they used, at least 50 sets of forks. Boom. That makes sense. If you tell me that, oh, okay. But at least. She needs to buy at least 50 sets of forks. That's what that means. Now on Delta Math, you don't have to put all that. But on the quiz, I want that. I'm gonna want an explanation. Put an explanation there. So on Delta Math, you just put 50, choose that symbol, and move on. Okay? But like to prepare you for the quiz, I'm gonna ask for that explanation. Okay? Explain what it means. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Under her cell phone plan, Paisley pays a flat cost, Flat means fixed. Cost of $60 per month. Plus, she has to pay for every gig she uses. She doesn't have unlimited. She has to pay for every gigabyte that she uses on her phone. She wants to keep her bill under $75 per month. Build and solve an inequality which can be used to determine G. G is the number of gigs, number of gigabytes she can use. What symbol are we going to use for this one? Less than. Under, right? Under means you have one option. It has to be lower. So we're going to only use, this is when we use less than. And what does it have to be under? 75 is the total, right? Good. So now what is the fixed number? 60, right? They say flat, but flat means fixed. That's what that means. It's another word for fixed. And then the gigs, 3G, 3 times G, is what she needs. That's the rate that they charge. Okay? Build, done. Solve. Subtract 60 from both sides. $3G is less than 15. Divide by 3, divide by 3. G is less than 5. What does that mean in real life? In other words, she what? See it?
She can use 5 gigabytes to stay within her budget.
She actually can't use 5. She has to use under 5. There you go. Yeah. She can't go over 5. She cannot go over 5 gigabytes. She can't go over 5 gigabytes. 4.9, she's okay. 5, too many. Okay. Okay, so the last two. The last two are more Math 3 level stuff because you have to think a little more. It's not hard. You just got to use your brain a little more than you did in the past. Okay, then those first 4 problems. So these are the types of problems that you're going to see on Friday. Okay, they're not hard. You just got to think a little bit. Okay. So a rental car company charges $63.25 per day to rent a car. Then they charge 7 cents per mile driven. That's if you want to rent a car, if you want to rent anything, if you want to rent a car or a truck or SUV, whatever, that's how they charge. They charge you a rate per day. And then they charge you based on miles, right? So how many miles you draw, this one charges you 7 cents per mile. It's not big, but still, it's a cost. So Ella wants to rent a car. She knows 2 things. She knows she plans on driving 50 miles, and she has at most $130 to spend. Okay, she has at most, so we said at most, right? It's the opposite of at least. At least was greater than or equal to. At most is less than or equal to. So we already know that, right? At most $130. The number of days she can afford to rent. Okay. So we got the symbol, we got 130. I need the rate, and I need the fixed number. This is where it gets a little bit different. It's a little different than what it was in the past. Because there's 2 rates. Don't we have 2 rates? 63.725 is per day. That's a rate.
And the miles?
7 cents per mile. That's another rate. But really, one of them is fixed. One of them is a rate, and one of them is fixed. Which one is fixed?
The fixed is 63.
That's actually going to be the rate because it's per day. And do I know how many days she used the car? No, that's what they're asking. So because I don't know that part, that's actually going to be the rate. So it's going to be 63.25 times P. If I knew that part, I would multiply it together. So why is 7 cents per mile not a rate? Why is it secretly a fixed number? Because I know how much she's going to pay, right? How do I figure out mileage? You take the rate times the miles. Do I know the rate? 7 cents. Do I know the miles? 50 miles, right? So I actually know the mileage. $0.07 times 50 miles. So let's go to my calculator. $0.07 times 50 miles, $3.50. $3.50. She's going to pay $3.50 for miles. That's a fixed number because I know exactly how many miles. When you know how many miles, it's a fixed number. I don't have to guess how many miles she's driving. I know. What I don't know is the number of days. I still don't know the number of days. Why did I use P? It's supposed to be X. Sorry. It doesn't matter what letter you use, but usually I like to use the same letter they have. So there's the equation, or inequality, I should say. Solve it. Subtract $3.50 from both sides. $63.25 times X is less than or equal to $126.50. That's how much it is when you subtract. Divide by 63.25. And I believe you get 2. What does 2 represent? $2, 2 cents, 2 days, 2 hours, days, right? Yep. Number of days, 2 days. So our explanation, she can use the car for at most 2 days. She can use the car for at most 2 days. Can she go over that? No, not without paying more. Can she do under? Yeah. She returns the car in a day, she doesn't go over her budget. Okay, so the last one. So the last 2, the fixed cost is hidden. Same thing's going to happen on the last one. The fixed cost is hidden, so we have to determine which one's the fixed and which one's the fixed cost and which one is the rate. Audrey has $440 to spend at a bicycle store for some new gear and some outfits. Taxes included. So that's why it's like 52 cents, 7 cents, 12 cents. Taxes already included, so you don't have to worry about that. She buys a new bicycle for $259.52. It's already bought. She buys 2 new reflectors for $3.07 each. So she bought 2 of them, each of them is $3.07. And then she buys some gloves for $29.12. After that, she plans to spend some or all of the money she has left to buy new biking outfits for $72.61 each. Write and solve an inequality which can be determined to determine O, the number of outfits. So that's what we're trying to solve for. The number of outfits she can still buy with her remaining money. So is this an at least or at most situation? When you have money to spend, I have money to spend. At most, right? At most. It's not at least. At least means, oh, it's more money than I have, right? If I only have 10 bucks to spend, if I only have a $10 bill, I can't go over that, right? So this is at most, because she has at most $440 to spend. Okay. Okay. So this is where it gets a little, not confusing, you just got to think about it. What's going to be the fixed cost? There you go. There you go. The stuff she already bought. Because, yeah, you can't change the stuff you already bought. If I bought something for $259 and $307 and $307 and $29.12, if I already bought that stuff, I can't change that price. That price stays. There's no variability there, right? So the fixed is going to be all of these guys here. 280, say it again, Blake? 294.78. Those are all the fixed costs because that's what she already spent. It's fixed because it already happened. She's already bought one bike, 2 reflectors, 1 pair of gloves. The fixed cost, which can change, is her outfits. Why can that change? Because she hasn't bought them yet. She can buy 1, she can buy 2, she can buy 3, she can buy 4, she can buy 5, right? That is the rate. So it's $72.61. That can change still. Times O. Draw your line down. Subtract 294.78. $72.61 times O is less than 100 and something. Let's see, 440 minus 294.78. 294.78. 145.25. 145.25. Divide. I think I'm going to get a decimal on this one, right?
No, it's 2.
Is it 2?
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, wait, no, I multiplied wrong. Sorry, I subtracted wrong. I put 75, it was supposed to be 78. So it's supposed to be 145.22. Two. What does that mean?
She can buy at most 2 outfits.
There you go. She can buy at most 2 outfits. She can buy 1, she can buy 2, that's it. She can't buy any more than that because she can't afford it. Done. Okay.
For the test, are you going to keep that up or do you like...
No, so that's a great question. So I'm not going to keep this stuff up on the test. Can I put it in my notebook? Absolutely. Absolutely. Where do you put it in your notebook? This is where I tell students to put it. So when you tape in stuff, when you tape it in, right? There's room underneath, right? There's room underneath when you tape it in. Write it in there. You can write anything you want in your notes in here. So when you tape this into page 8, tape it in, but then when you flip it up, you have stuff written underneath. That's where I would write it. Okay?